on bike 69 into the Formula Oz and 250 and 125 Grand Prix field.
Alongside Ian Chu there, the number 3. Very nicely turned out bike, the Yamaha.
Yeah, it gives us a 22 bike field. Maxwell on pole position ahead of John Allen. Grant Mitchell on the front row with Ian Chu, and then the second row, Kirk Dahms, Anton Laforgue, Mark Stanley and Guy Kirkman. Laforgue, we remember from the first race on that Suzuki 1000, a C grader.
Looking to cause some upsets, although this battle between Allen and Maxwell is what had everybody's attention in race 1. Lights set now, and off the line again. It's all green. Maxwell gets a great start. Grant Mitchell, Allen got left behind again. What's with the 500? A little slow off the line.
Yeah, hard to get away though. They're very peaky power, those 2 strokes, and it'd be better than a 4-cylinder 2-stroke 500. And that's about all you can say about it. Not easy to get away. You need a lot of revs. You've got to be very gentle with the clutch. Looking there at bike 11 is Barry Allen, further back in the field. He's on an Alumilite Honda 250.
And Stanley too on the 250 GP bike, the Stuyvesant Racing Elf Racing Oils machine, up to about 4th place. Grant Mitchell there as well. Now Allen has set himself a bit of work to do now, Will, because he's left a fair bit of room between himself and Maxwell. Go back there to 3rd place. And it might be Chu doing particularly well. Kirk Dahms, Stanley, Kirkman. And as you said, Allen, I wonder can John run down Maxwell with a lead like this?
He'll certainly be trying. Laforgue got away well, 3rd place initially, as he was in the first race. But again, it's a 6-lapper. It's 18 3/4 kilometres. Real little sprint race. No time for strategy. Get out and go. And John Allen, you'd better get out right now and go out after Alistair Maxwell.
And if you're not from Queensland, haven't been to this circuit, one of the really good parts about it, Will, as a spectator, and it sounds pretty simple, is you can see the whole course. And
yes,
rare.
It's certainly a good spectator track. Could be more imaginative for riders, albeit that has produced tremendous racing over this weekend for the whole Yamaha Formula Extreme Tri-State Series.
Chew. Big move there with Paul Grant Mitchell on the Central Coast Performance Wet For You, number 69, doing Formula Extreme and Formula Oz. A busy boy, a great character, and a man who loves to do wheelies, as he said earlier.
Laforgue doing very well. Got his bike working well under the bumps there. Under brakes, it looks fairly comfortable. Squatting quite well. It's sticking to the track, and he can brake it hard.
There is Stanley right behind that good little scrap, the 250. Probably today, although it's a 250 Grand Prix bike, Will, the long straightaways at Queensland, it could get eaten up as we see Dahms on the 110.
Yes, Stanley's bike 99, and with the green background that suggests once upon a time when they had colour coding for various categories, green was for 250.
Here comes Chu trying to make a move back on the inside of Grant Mitchell. He's got that right leg stuck out almost like a rudder as he goes into the right-hander. Big ducktail on the R1 as he comes off back to the main straightaway. No wheelies today. He's pretty busy at this point. Maxwell leading from Allen and Anton Laforgue, as we said earlier. And Chu right behind there, chewing on the tail of Grant Mitchell.
So Grant Mitchell doing a good job. He had a good result in the first race here on Sunday. And still sticking with it well on this 6-lapper. And Laforgue, who's been the real surprise of the meeting, hasn't featured in previous races in Formula Oz, but the Queensland C grader doing very well, getting good starts, fading a little bit later in the races, but at the moment still holding on to 3rd place behind this pair.
I believe they've actually dropped an 1100 motor into this Suzuki. It was originally a 750, and something like an 89 model or something is giving away a fair bit of vintage to the rest of the field.
Grant Mitchell on 69 at the head of that trio. The tail end of that group is Chu on 3. Sandwiched in between them, 94 is Anton Laforgue. He's gone back 1 spot now. Grant Mitchell, the more experienced rider, has gone by him, and Laforgue under some pressure now. Still at the front end of the field.
Chu just went by there.
Maxwell.
Good pass in the R1. Gee, Allen's done well here, Will.
He has. He's made a lot of ground, and pretty hot on Maxwell now. Can Allen, the senior Queenslander, on the Grand Prix 500.
Is that one rider or 2, Will? That's remarkably close.
Yeah, it really is. And look at how small the Honda looks.
Oh, look at
if you ever want a comparison, yet that is a 290-odd kilometre an hour Grand Prix thoroughbred. with a big bloke on it.
I was going to say, Alan makes it look like a scooter, though. He's such a big, tall boy. Maxwell under a lot of pressure now. So this to keep the lead in the championship. And Alan skating around behind him, trying to pick up an advantage wherever he can. Those knee sliders throwing up sparks as Maxwell continues to lead, albeit just.
You can see the wider fairing on the road-based bike, more weather protection on the Grand Prix bike in behind. You can see it's as narrow as it can possibly be for maximum slipstreaming, minimum amount of comfort. Who cares about comfort? All they worry about is speed as Alan goes into the lead. And so he should too.
Gee, he didn't mess around, did he?
So he heads Maxwell at the moment.
Alistair pushing very hard just then. Right up behind Alan. How hard is Maxwell pushing? He knows he can't get that little red rocket ship too far out of his gun sights because it will disappear. Maxwell tailing him down this short back straightaway. Under brakes, Maxwell's been very good here. What's he going to do?
Has the Kawasaki walking all over the place. Sweeps into the corner down the inside of the Grand Prix Honda and into the lead, and then the big guy on the Honda gets back into the seat, guns it, and heads out after the Kawasaki.
John Allen would be dead set loving this, Will. I think he'd rather run second in a race like this than lead by a mile.
Absolutely, and this is what racers love, is a good carve up. They don't want to be out on their own.
Especially when it's such a challenge of the different machines and the different handling probabilities that you've talked about.
And especially two guys who can trust each other too. Maxwell knows that Alan's not going to do anything stupid. Alan knows that Maxwell's a very reliable competitor. He's unlikely to slip off and kick John Allen off his bike. So they just get into it, boots and all, and have a very good scrap for 6 laps.
One to go. Look at this. Allen up the inside. Maxwell certainly has more momentum into the corner. So Allen's going to give him heaps in this last lap. There is the fog back then to the 110 of Kurt Dahms. And Allen with a lot of pressure now.
Maxwell still heading within the last 3 kilometres of this race, and the Kawasaki doing the job over the Honda. Allen in behind, but in around down the inside. Maxwell crossed up under brakes, got it going everywhere, and except for the fact that Allen went round really very deep under brakes, Maxwell would have had it there, but Allen really did pull out everything there, went very deep, got a lot of corner speed as well, and so leads in the last critical part of this race.
And Will, Maxwell had to cut right to the bottom of the corner then as well, and it pinched off all of his momentum. It allowed Allen to get a good run out of the corner, and look at the ground he's opened up over Maxwell as we see another one of the lap riders going by. But Allen has opened up a lot of ground, just one corner.
Yeah, look at him wrestling with the Kawasaki. Going for the big sweeping outside entry to this corner, but Allen's got it well covered down the inside into tight on the apex and comes out in the lead. Unlike the other race where the Kawasaki of Maxwell did the job, this time it is victory for John Allen on the Grand Prix 500 Honda and for Illuminite Racing. Into second place, Alistair Maxwell, and a good battle further back sees Ian Chu on bike number 3 come in ahead of Paul Grant Mitchell on 69, Anton Laford on 94, Kirk Dahms, Mark Stanley, and then Guy Kirkman on the Yamaha R1, not far in behind Mark Stanley's Grand Prix 250 Honda.
What a great race, Formula Oz.
Had some great dicing with Paul there. The other 2 guys were sort of goodbye. You know, they were way off in the distance, but we had our own little bit of racing back in the pack, and it was a lot of fun. So, and just want to thank Ken and Todd for putting a great bike together for us. So, no, it was an excellent weekend.
Yeah, John rode really, very well. I won't take anything away from him. We did have a few problems in that one, made some changes and went the wrong direction, and had a stick and throttle, which didn't make it any easier. But no, he rode well. It was good fun, and I don't like finishing second, I can tell you that.
That means our next round's going to be something special.
We'll have some bits for that and some decent tyres for the last 2 rounds, so yeah, you'll see it in the next one.
I just sat there and I was probably a bit smoother than last time, and when I felt a bit more confident I had a bit more of a go on the brakes, and the bike's been ready to win all weekend. It's just the old man on it. It's just a bit gun shy, and I just want to be able to get off and hop on the other bike without wrecking it.
He's had a long, hard day, and a pretty good one too, John Allen. And you can see that he's not far behind Alistair Maxwell. However, the Kawasaki rider retains his lead. They're both a long way ahead of Mark Stanley, Paul Grant Mitchell, and then Darren Parkinson's a bit of a way back too. But Barry Allen's not far from him, along with Ian Chu and Shane McClintock in the top 8 in what's good field and a very good series, Formula Oz in the Yamaha Formula Extreme Tri-State